संसार समुद्रतार नौकायिताभ्यां गुरुभक्तिदाभ्यां वैराग्यसाम्राज्यद पूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्रीगुरुपादुकाभ्यां श्रीविद्या शिववामभागनिलया ह्रीङ्कारमन्त्रोज्ज्वला श्रीचक्राङ्कितबिन्दुमध्यवसती श्रीमत्सभा नायिका श्रीमत्षण्मुखविघ्नराजजननी श्रीमज्जगन्मोहिनी मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिं सिन्धूरारुणविग्रहा त्रिनयना माणिक्यमौलि स्फुरा तारानायकशेखरा स्मितमुखी आपीनवक्षोरुहा पाणिभ्याम् अलिपूर्णरत्नचषकम् रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रति सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणा ध्यायेत् पराम् अंबिका। बोलो जगन माता की जय। बोलो सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। जगन माता पाहि मां। Okay, so welcome to everyone. So today's session is mostly going to be Q&A, and we have quite a few questions, very, very good questions. And let's see, starting from this group. Okay. So the first question is about the mind being very restless. So someone said that I'm trying to center myself. The more I try to center myself, I'm realizing that my mind is very restless. It was always restless. It's just that just now, since you're getting aware, you're really getting aware of how restless it was all the while. So restlessness of the mind is our starting point to go to the natural state of the mind, which is emptiness. So the natural state of the mind is emptiness, and that's where we're heading. So, like in the meditation video of Swamiji, he talks about the song of Mahamudra, and he says how initially a meditator, which could be seated meditation or the practice of maintaining a meditative state, both. In both the cases, the person who is trying to achieve that meditative state or trying to do seated practice of meditation will initially experience mind as a waterfall, gushing loud noises, extremely restless. Then eventually it starts to gain quietude, and finally it becomes the ocean. And you can look up the song of Mahamudra. It's a really beautiful song. It's a poem on the state of mind, how from totally cluttered state it eventually becomes emptiness. So initially, yes, your mind is going to be restless. So the way to tackle a restless mind is japa. And as soon as we hear the word japa, then the mind starts, oh, but you're not initiated into a mantra. Which mantra should I pick up? Should I pick up this mantra? Should I pick up that? It doesn't matter. The mantra is like a rope. Because the mind cannot be silent, it needs a rope. So it continuously keeps busy climbing on that rope. After a few minutes of chanting the name, experience silence for some time. The mind will slow down if you give it a divine name to chant. I was suggesting to someone you can either chant Shri Mata. Someone said, my mind is talking so much, I just don't know how to shut it up. The thing that brings us down has the power to launch us. So if your mind is extremely talkative, give it japa, Shri Mata. Shri Mata, Shri Mata, Shri Mata, Shri Mata, Shri Mata. It doesn't matter the pace. You want to go slow, you want to go fast, you want to go super fast, it doesn't matter. The goal is for you to be in a state of silence. In that state of silence, you could be driving, you could be working on your computer, you could be studying, you could be cooking, you could do anything and everything in the silence. Because the mind is not adding its 2 cents in everything that you're doing. It adds its 2 cents because it's got time on its hand and it's got nothing to do. So the best thing is give it something to do. And don't give the mind that is not cultivated yet a long mantra. Oh, come on now, sit and chant Gayatri mantra. It's going to say, you know what? You can chant, I'm leaving. So you have to cultivate the mind by giving it small names to begin with. Shri Hari, 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 Shri Mata, Shri Mata, Shri Mata. Pick up small names. If you want to drop Shri and just do Hari, 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 Hari. It's actually, Hari is actually Hreem. The Bijakshar Hreem is an extremely potent Bijakshar of Bhuvaneshwari Devi. But it cannot be chanted without initiation. It can cause a havoc in your energy system. But the equivalent of Hreem is Hari. So you can chant Hari. So the mind that is not cultivated yet, if you give it a long mantra to chant, it's going to say, take a hike, I'm leaving. So give it a small mantra like Shri Mata, Shri Hari, or just Hari, or just Shri. Pick up one name from Lalita Sahasranam or anything, or the daily japa of Lalita Sahasranam, whatever floats your boat. Pick a name and keep the mind busy. It's like, let's say if I have a 3-year-old with me and I'm trying to do some work on my computer, and the 3-year-old is continuously talking and disturbing me, wants to get on my computer, wants to sit on my lap. And let's say if I give the kid a toy, saying, here, play with this for some time, I'll get some work done. It's like that in the beginning. So just imagine yourself with a little toddler. That toddler is your mind. You give the mind a toy. Here, you're getting too restless, play with this. So it's just that. The mantra, the sound leads to no sound. The sound leads to silence. So in between two names, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, experience that silence when the mind is quiet. And then continue on for some time with that silence. As soon as the mind starts blabbering again, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, silence. Sometimes the mind screams from within. Let the japa also become louder. Inside, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari. Increase the intensity of the japa within when you see the mind is just not coming down. This is one way. The other thing is sometimes the mind keeps asking the same question. It says, no, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know. Bring the question in front of you. Sorry about that. Bring the question in front of you and look at it. Look at that question. Not when I say look at it, doesn't mean you look at the words or anything. Just address it. Say to the mind, all right, let's bring your question. All right, what is your question? Oh, my question is this. So then ask the mind, okay, now if you find out the answer, now what? What are you going to do about it? Then the mind will say, nothing. Well, then why do you want to know? There are so many things in the world to know. Do you want to know everything? What are you going to know? What are you going to do knowing all of this? You have to be. Trust me, the mind is a very real thing. It's not like the mind doesn't exist. You can ignore it, but there are times, as Swamiji says, you have to address it, saying, okay, here, come up, come in the front and talk to me. Now this question is really bothering you. You really want to know the answer. Let's say we get the answer. Now what? How is that going to change? You should be able to have a conversation and tell the mind, why don't you just drop this question and see? All right, if not, let's offer this question to our true self, the divine within us, and let the divine answer your question. Have patience. You need to be able to talk to your mind like that. And it's only when you sometimes, remember, the child doesn't need to be talked to all the time. Sometimes it's just goo goo gaga and blabbering. You can just ignore it. Sometimes the child needs to be, okay, what is it? Let's have a conversation. So you need to be able to do both. So depending upon how restless the mind is, use your japa, talk to the mind, have a conversation and understand where it's coming from. And this is something you will just know intuitively how your mind functions. And let me tell you, all mind, this is what Buddha says, all mind is but one. The way I think is the way you think, the way someone else thinks, because all mind is already developed and it's already one. So that's the answer for restlessness of the mind. Then the next question was about junk food, saying I eat a lot of junk food and I just cannot control myself. As and when you increase your meditative practice, as and when you work towards being in that meditative state more and more seated practice, more and more meditative practice, the entire fabric of your being will change. I come from Hyderabad. I was used to eating spicy food, like real spicy food. Now, if I accidentally eat spicy food, it's hell. It's hell for me because my stomach will burn and then I will really suffer. So the same physical body used to eat spicy food, now it cannot handle. Why? Because the complete constitution of your body changes. You have sattva, rajas and tamas within you. As and when you center yourself and align yourself to that sattvic energy, the fabric of your being will change. So instead of forcing yourself, I'm not going to eat junk food, oh no, I'm not going to look at junk food, and just creating friction within yourself, focus more on the practices. More and more you focus on the practice, more naturally you will start transforming. And then there will come a day wherein you look at junk food and be like, I really don't want to eat that. Because your body would have changed so much. The constitution of your being would have changed so much naturally that you will prefer not to eat junk food. So focus on the practices more and more and more. The more you find yourself questioning, the more you find yourself restless, the more you find yourself getting attracted to junk food, the more you need to practice. Because the more you need to change your entire constitution to sattvic. A sattvic constitution will not look at junk food with the same way a tamasic person would look at. It is not a label I'm putting to people saying, oh, you're tamasic, you like junk food, you're tamasic. No, it's just the constitution. It's just basic common sense. We have sattva, rajas and tamas within us. Whichever one we choose, similar things we will attract, similar things we will like, and we will become similar. If you continuously are attracted to tamasic food, know and understand that, hey, wait a second, it means the tamas within me, the mode of ignorance within me seems to be at a peak. So let me readjust these levels and practice more in being in the mode of sattva. Remember, there is the centering, the whole centering exercise we do is we align ourselves with that divine energy. When you align yourself with that divine energy, the sattva within you, the rajas and tamas, the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion, drop off. They start going down and the sattva keeps rising. It's not like the mode of passion and ignorance will eventually completely be gone. That is the very fabric of your being. You are made up of three modes. It's just that what are you predominantly? That's what matters, and that's what you need to focus your practices on. So don't be harsh on yourself. As Swamiji says, it's important to be kind to yourself also. If your body, out of being in a state of higher tamas, is craving junk food, know that it's craving junk food because it's in a state of tamas. So at that point, if you choose more tamasic food, that it's not going to help your cause. It's only going to increase the mode of ignorance in you. So at that point, go back to your practice and willfully make the choice to choose a healthy snack. In just a few days, you will observe there will come a distance that you will say, no, you know what, I don't want to eat this junk food. There will come a time. But till then, willfully, lovingly, kindly to yourself, separate yourself from that junk food. Maybe instead of one big bowl of chips, use 2 chips and a bowl of apples. This is something you just have to lovingly do it to yourself and not as some strict person saying, okay, you can't have this, you can't have that, because the mind will retaliate with twice the amount of force, and then you will lose. So slowly, do it slowly, but let that change be permanent. So that's the next question. Okay. Every time I hear my mind talk, I'm able to experience a kind of distance. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I think it allows me to take a back seat and understand where this thought might lead me. That is brilliant. That is the goal of all sadhana. All sadhana we do, the goal of that sadhana is to create a distance from your mind and to know that, hey, I'm not the mind. The mind is a tool I have in my toolbox. The intellect is a tool I have in my toolbox. The body is a tool I have in my toolbox. When I say I Aham Brahmasmi, that awareness, that pristine awareness that I am, uses three tools. Uses the body, uses the mind, uses the intellect. But out of ignorance, I has mixed up with the mind, and now I think I'm the mind. I think I'm the intellect. I think I'm the body. So the very first thing is look at your body and see, if I can look at something, how can that be me? Because if I'm looking at something, there is I and there is that thing I'm looking at. If you are just looking at your body, you are obviously not the body, because you can look at it. There is subjective difference. You and the body. You and your intellect. Oh, my intellect says so and so. Yes, it is your intellect saying. It is not you. Whatever your intellect is saying, you're able to see. Same thing with the mind. Before there was no differentiation. The mind, I, everything one. If I'm feeling bad, that's it. That is me. If I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling desperate, if I'm feeling jealous, that is me. Now I know, hey, my mind is feeling that way. That's not me. And I can fix the tools I have. The three tools I have is the body, the mind, the intellect. So that is brilliant that you're creating that distance. That is the goal. So then continuing on, the question is, so I'm able to recognize whether I feel positive emotions or negative ones. And this comes from creating a distance. In the case of negative ones, I'll easily drop it and remind myself that it's just the mind playing tricks. That is extremely brilliant that you're able to do that. Keep at it. Always keep your guard up. And you just have to do this for a few days, because eventually you'll see your mind will stop bringing useless thoughts to you. It will still do that, because remember, you are in a human condition. You will have situations wherein you'll feel sad. You will have situations wherein you will feel a little flustered. This is all part of being human. And you know what I would recommend is, don't label your emotions as positive and negative. To say that anger is a negative emotion, anger is the most powerful emotion you can have. It really brings up your entire being into one place, and then you spit out venom. So it's a powerful emotion. Don't blame it as negative or positive, because as the energy of anger rises, if you're aware, if you're mindful, you can coat that energy with love, and when you send out, the same powerful surge of energy that happened within you can be transformed into love, compassion, kindness. So don't undermine your emotions by labeling them as negative or positive. Emotions are just emotions. They are just that wave rising in the ocean. Some waves are tsunami waves, some waves are little tiny waves. The goal is not to choose, oh, these are the kind of waves I want, these are the kind of waves I don't want. The goal is to be the deep ocean that houses all the emotions, yet is none of them. So, as Swamiji was saying recently in the video, being human, we will have emotions. What's the big deal? There's no big deal. The problem is when we create that small tiny wave that rises of any emotion that could be, that little tiny wave, we start feeding it, and make it bigger and bigger. And we move further away from our true nature, which is that deep ocean. So the goal is not to be emotionless, because that would be a dead body or someone in coma. That's not the goal. The goal is, no matter which emotion I experience, I will always remember that I am that deep ocean and come right back. It's okay to experience emotions, because I'm a human being. I can experience these emotions. A goat will never experience jealousy. A goat will never experience euphoria. The goat doesn't even know it's a goat. So, don't label your emotions as good and bad, because then problems will arise, as you see in the next few lines. So you're saying I'm able to recognize whether I feel positive or negative emotions. In the case of negative emotions, I will drop it. But in the case of these positive emotions, which include sudden bouts of euphoria, enthusiasm, inspiration, should I just let it be, or should I try to remind myself that these are tricks? It confuses me. It's a sort of joyful restlessness. So you will see, if you stop labeling your emotions, you will understand they're all emotions. The problem is the mind wants to question everything. Today, let's say you're feeling flustered. It wants to question, why am I feeling flustered? Remember, when I say I, the mind is questioning. The deep ocean is always at peace. The mind questions, why am I feeling flustered today? Yesterday I was feeling good. I don't know why today I'm feeling flustered. I'm not able to do it today. I don't know what's going on. This happened to me yesterday. I was at the gym. I just did not want to do any of my workouts properly. I was just cutting it short everywhere. Then I took a deep breath and I said, what's going on today? The mind said, I just don't feel like doing it today. I cannot always be strict with my mind saying, no, you have to do it. I said, all right, how about this? We have 7 reps to do. Let's at least do 5 reps properly. 2 you can cut short. You don't have to do full range of motion. That's it. So 5 I did properly, and then 2 I said, all right, I'll take a little, shortcut this time. So you have to sometimes give in. So when you stop labeling emotions as good and bad, they all rise. And then they all fall away pretty fast, and then you're back to your normal self. There will come few moments here and there. That is the experience of bhakti. There will come moments wherein you will touch the bliss body, your awareness that you truly are. Your awareness sometimes looks at the body, sometimes is in the mind, sometimes in the intellect, sometimes in the outside world, sometimes in that extreme state of devotion, it touches the bliss body. When it touches the bliss body, which is called the Anandamaya Kosh, that's when you experience these goosebumps, the tears. You just cannot explain those emotions. It's a state of euphoria. And whenever that happens, just let it happen. It was not that you intended to do it. It just happened. The mind wants to fathom, hey, what was that experience? Let's explain. Let's try to understand what that experience was. The mind cannot fathom that experience. Your awareness has touched the deepest bliss body, the presence of the Divine Mother. It has touched that. And when your awareness touches that, you feel tears, inexplicable joy, your goosebumps all over. It's a different feeling. And we all have experienced that bouts of it. Sometimes you go into the private meeting, you feel that. The mind cannot fathom what that experience is. It just is. So at that point, when the mind raises its hand to say, hey, I want to know, drop it. So you don't need to know, you just cannot fathom. So that's what I have to say about that. Moving on. Okay, so this group is done. Let me go. All right. So it says, here's my one question for tomorrow. And it says, I kind of guess and know the answer is to drop it, and I've been doing so, but I feel like putting it out there. Maybe someone else has the same questions. Trust me, I had this same question. So it says, like what Swamiji said, to receive grace, you have to be quiet. But now my mind says, see, you're such a fool. You were talking non-stop in his presence. You didn't know how to get grace. How will you ever get grace now? Mind says, you're trying to quieten me, fine, but it's too late to be quiet now, isn't it? The opportunity has passed. Will you get another chance to be in his presence and then remember to be quiet and receive his grace? Now what? This is such a typical mind scenario. This is what the mind does. It wants to worry about everything. Um, but first of all, let's try to understand this, that you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the intellect. You are that pristine awareness, that deep ocean, this that pure consciousness, whatever you want to label it, right? You are that. Swamiji, through his sadhana, has completely become that. You and I, we are citizens of two worlds. Sometimes we live in the mind, sometimes in the intellect, sometimes in body consciousness, sometimes as our true self. He, on the other hand, has withdrawn his citizenship from everywhere, and now he only lives as the pure, pristine awareness. So his presence is not limited to the body or where that body is. His presence is not limited to whether you are in his thoughts or not. His presence does not limit, his presence is not limited to his intellect saying, oh, does this person receive my grace? Yes or not? Has that person done enough reading of scriptures? Let me see. No. Remember, he has withdrawn his citizenship from the body, mind, intellect, and now he is a citizen, complete 100% pure awareness. So he is literally a breath away from you. Literally a breath away. I have chosen to experience him that way no matter what. The choice is yours. If you want to receive grace, you just have to be quiet. Once you're quiet, his presence is your true self. His presence is that pristine awareness that you have access to. His grace doesn't depend on physical boundaries. You don't have to be in his physical presence to receive grace. You can be anywhere but connected to that source to receive grace. And as and when you keep quietening yourself, you go more and more and more in that silence. Let this one statement ring in your head all the time. The highest of teachings are transmitted in silence. When your mind is completely quiet, those few seconds, teachings come through. It's not like the teachings will come through as like, okay, here, these are the words. These things happen. Grace, let me say, is energy. Right now, let's say you're vibrating. Your entire energy system is at this level. Grace takes you here and here and here and here and here until you merge with the universal consciousness one day. That's what grace does. So it's not like grace, now that you're quiet, okay, Swamiji, are you coming? Do I see you? Do I see your face? That's mind cooking up stuff. When the mind is quiet and you're just there, slowly your energy system is rising. You're just vibrating at a higher energy level. That's grace. And that can only happen when you're quiet. It's like, if I have to do a root canal on a patient, I have to first anesthetize the patient and get the patient out of my way first. Because if I'm working, if the patient is screaming, saying, oh, I can feel it, I cannot do the work. So first I have to give the anesthesia, get the patient out of the way, and then I can do my work. Similarly, for Swamiji to do his work from within, he needs to get you out of the way. And when I say you, it's your mind. Your mind is dancing, cooking up stuff. He cannot do his work. So the more you center yourself, the more you quieten yourself, the mind is put to the side and he can get work done. What does he do? What exactly does he do? No, don't worry about what he needs to do. That's his job. Let him do it. Your job, my job, is to get my mind out of the way constantly so he can do his job. What does he do? Well, you'll find out when you become him and when you start doing it for others. So, the question, I hope I answered that question. Let me just go back. And let me tell you one more thing. As and when you start vibrating at a higher level, if he deems that you need to see him personally, you need to be in his physical presence, he will make that happen. Have that faith. I didn't. I always used to question. I'm here in America. You are there. When will I get to see you? This is not fair. Other devotees are getting to see you so many times. How is that fair to me? Blah, 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 blah. That kept going on and on until I realized he's right there. He is me. That's it. Who am I? I have lost myself in him. All there is he. All there is her. So, if he deems necessary, I promise you, you will be in front of him, either in your subtle body or in your physical body. The mind wants to be there physically, but you go see, every night you go to sleep, that subtle body travels to so many places. Which is why if you meditate before you go to sleep, if you meditate on his guidance before you go to sleep, that subtle body will be guided by him. He will take you to lectures. He will take you to his own discourses. Sometimes you'll wake up and you'll say, oh, I had a dream. I was in the Sri Hari temple and I was in a discourse. Well, trust me, it was not something that your mind cooked up. You were truly there in your subtle body. That's how Guru does so much stuff during the night when we are sleeping. Because when the mind is out of the way, the Guru can do so much. So the subtle body travels. He takes us to many lectures, workshops, breathing exercises. So much happens, which is why we meditate right before we go to sleep. And as soon as we wake up, we meditate again, expressing our gratitude for all the astral travel we did to gain knowledge, to improve our energy system to vibrate at a higher frequency. And I hope that answers your question. We got more. So it says, I try to stay away from Facebook and other social media except WhatsApp and YouTube. But again, sometimes have to do it due to official or social reasons. However, again, as I move over to other posts, it makes me unhappy as I end up comparing myself to others. This is very, very beautiful, comparing myself to others. Okay. Most of the time, I was telling this to someone else, but I'll explain this to you because it was a beautiful realization in my life. When we were young, we would go to our grandparents' village. It was like a really remote village with 20, 30 houses in it. Really remote. And I remember going in, we didn't even have electricity. We just used to have these lanterns in that house. For summer holidays, we would go there for like 2-3 weeks. And my grandma had this one 5x7 framed mirror in one of the rooms. In the entire house, which was a small house, that was the only mirror. Compared to our house in Hyderabad, we had a dressing table, a full-length mirror. So whenever we would go there, all you can see is this much of your face, right? You can only see this much of your face, and so all we would do is just look at the face, fix the hair, and go to play. Play all day. And our village had red soil. So that red tinge would be all over our clothes, our feet. It would actually start getting into our skin as well. And then we would stay there 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks, totally carefree, just playing all day. And then we would come back to Hyderabad. And when we would look in the mirror, right, I remember distinctly having these conversations with my mom. Oh my God, I've gained weight. Oh my God, look at how dark I have become. All my clothes have this red tinge to them. My footwear had all red tinge. It would all start appearing then. I mean, it was always there for those 3 weeks, playing in the sun. I had already become dark and everything, but it never bothered me until I came to the city. And, that got a really great realization in me that, as I said, the body is a tool that my awareness uses. My awareness that I am uses the body to function in this world. But since I have decided to become a citizen of my body, my awareness is now totally the citizen of my body and being stuck in this body consciousness. And nowadays, if you see, reflective surfaces everywhere. You walk through a market, there is big windows that are made up of reflective surfaces. You can check yourself out. Restrooms, huge mirrors. Malls, full-size mirrors. Mirrors everywhere. So what this does is, even if someone is trying to center themselves and try to not be a citizen of the body consciousness, they're forced to. There's mirrors everywhere, reflective surfaces everywhere. You walk next to your car, your car window will show how you look. So even if we don't want, we are constantly checking ourselves out, just the body though. So the more and more you are going to be stuck in your body consciousness, the more you have to suffer from that. First, what will happen is you will start becoming hollow. Because your awareness, which is the deep ocean, which is the entire cosmos, which is the entire creation, is now stuck in a small box of the body. It says, I'm the body, I'm my body, I'm like this, I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm tall, I'm slim, I'm skinny, I'm extremely skinny. My arms are longer, my nose is like this, my hair is like this, my eyebrows are like this, I don't like my eyes. This is all that we become. So there ensues a certain hollowness in us, because now we have identified ourselves with something that we're not. So it's like, trying to trap the entire ocean in a small box. It's never going to feel good. It's going to feel restricted. It's going to be very uncomfortable. And that uncomfortable movement in your energy system will show out as, oh, I'm not good. I keep comparing myself to others. So watch truly, what do you compare? When you're on social media comparing yourself to others, you will see you're only comparing your body. Maybe there are other things to compare, but majority of the comparison happens because of the body. Oh, look how she is. Look how I am. Oh, look how he is. Look at all the muscles he has. I have none. I have a big belly. Look at that flat tummy. We are just stuck in that body consciousness. So what is the solution? The solution is use the intellect. Let the intellect remind the mind. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you comparing the bodies? The body is just the tip of an iceberg. There is this huge portion of the iceberg underwater, which you are just straight up neglecting, ignoring. You're saying, no, I'm not that. I'm just that little triangular tip of the iceberg that's on top of the water. No, you are that big, huge iceberg that's hidden under the water. So the more you find yourself comparing, first question, what am I comparing? If you're comparing the body, know that you have accepted, okay, I'm going to live in this, I'm going to take up the citizenship of body consciousness and live there. Remind yourself, let the intellect remind, no, I am not just this body. The body is just a tool that I use. I am that. I am Swamiji's consciousness. How can I become petty and compare my body to others' body? And if you see the Swaminar questions, right, most of the people are like, oh, how do I deal with that? How do I deal with that? And Sometimes if you pay attention, you will see it's the same questions over and over and over and over again. If you ask, why are the people asking the same questions? Swamiji has written about it in blogs. He has talked about it in his videos. We still have the same questions. Why is that? That's because we have not made up our mind firmly to transform. Because if you walk out of this satsang saying, that's it, I denounce my citizenship from body consciousness. You know what? I don't want to be conscious of my body so much. Doesn't mean you don't dress good. You still dress good if you're a female. You do your hair properly. You put on makeup, whatever you need to. But don't, if you're trying to put on makeup as if it's you're just caking it on yourself, there is a problem. Then you're obsessed. Just the bare minimum. Look presentable. Look however you want. You want to match perfectly, match. But then move on. Then if you find yourself constantly checking yourself out, constantly taking selfies, oh, let me see this angle, let me see that angle, oh, in this angle, when I take it from this angle, my cheeks don't look good. When I take it from this angle, my nose doesn't look good. Then you have accepted the citizenship, you are in the body consciousness, and then suffering is unavoidable. Because every country, every place you choose to go, it comes with its own suffering. That Aarti Jai Jagdish Hare, Bhakt Jano ke Sankat Kshan mein dur kare. Is it a lie or truth? It's absolute truth. Kshan mein dur kare. If you take a moment to center yourself, instantly you are out of body consciousness. Kshan mein dur kare. So, aligning yourself with the divinity within you instantly removes suffering. Because suffering comes from accepting citizenship from body consciousness, from the mind or the intellect. So comparing yourself at the body level, this is what happens. So the more and more and more, first of all, resolve, sankalp, that you know what, no more. I cannot use the old mind to solve these problems. To solve these problems, I have to have a new mind. A new state of being can solve these problems, and accept that new state of being as your true self and willfully resolve to be in that state of true self. Second, you can compare yourself intellectually. Oh, look at that person. She's a doctor. I am not. She's an engineer. I am not. Look, she is so ahead in the corporate world, corporate ladder. I am not. So what? You are doing your job. It's not that you shouldn't be ambitious. It's just that if you brood over it too much, guess what? Suffering is waiting right down the road. It's just waiting to pounce on you. So Jai Jagdish Hare, Bhakt Jano ke Sankat Kshan mein dur kare. If you truly want that one moment to take you out of suffering, center yourself. Say, oh, I have accepted citizenship. I'm right now in the country of the mind. Let me come back. This is my home base. So constantly come back to your home base. No matter where you go, come back. And mind, we've been talking about it extensively. That mind is the most problematic country to be in, territory to be in. So come back to home base more and more and more. And all of these things will eventually fall away. You will have no questions related to the body. You will intuitively know that you need to eat healthy, you need to exercise. Because what exercise does is it renews. If you have a cup of water and if you just leave it on the counter for like 10 days, that water is not worth drinking because that water has been sitting still. Exercise just keeps moving that water and refreshing it. So your energy system needs movement, which is why you need to exercise. If you want to hold the entire ocean in this body, if you want to experience being that whole entire ocean, if you want to experience being the entire cosmos, your body needs to be strong. That's why you need to work out. Simple as that. So, intuitively, the more and more you center yourself in that divine energy, the more you'll automatically take out time for exercise. You will cut down on your junk food. You will prefer sattvic food, healthy food, good food, and just, you will know when to drop your mind, when to talk to it, when to listen to it. You will know the intellect, when to use that tool to guide your mind, to guide your body. It's literally as simple as that. Without knowing how to use, like, let's say you buy your iPhone, right? And you really don't know how to use it. What are you going to do with it? Then you will be just suffering with that phone because you just don't know how to use it. So know yourself by knowing all these faculties that you have. How does my mind work? How does my intellect work? What does my body have to do? Where is my awareness right now? Is it in the territory of the mind? Is it in the territory of the intellect? Or is it in the territory of my body? No matter where it is, it can only be a visitor and then come back to its home base. It's only in its home that it's going to feel relaxed, at peace, and at home. No matter where else it goes, it's only going to suffer. So people who are in their body consciousness, they suffer so much. You might look at some other person thinking she's so pretty, she's so perfect. She suffers the most because she has to do so much to maintain herself like that. Be free. Eat healthy, exercise regularly, dress up as good as you want to, and be done. Don't brood over it. Don't keep taking selfies from this angle, this angle, that. What's that going to do? So, that's that. Then it says, I've been practicing centering, but work pressure and anxiety throws me off balance. Obviously, it will. There are negative people at my workplace. I try to be compassionate and forgive them, but feel hurt many a times, and this disturbs me. So, this notion that we have that the whole world is out there to get us, they're after our blood, is just a concept of the mind. No one is out there to get you. Your own mind is out there to get you. Let's say I'm taking a walk and I see someone walking from the opposite direction pretty fast, right? So there are a couple of ways my mind could look at it. My mind could say, oh, that person is coming to attack me. One, wow, they really mean business. They're really walking fast. That's brisk walk. Third, you better get out of the way. If not, he will come and bump into you because he's walking really fast. It's my choice what I choose. If my mind is empty, I'll keep walking, and as he gets close, I'll decide what I need to do. Do I need to move to the side? Do I need to slow down and let him go? What do I need to do? So this notion that there are negative people around me in the office, drop it. There is no one out there to get your blood. First, know that the mind perceives differences. The mind says, that's him, this is me, he is negative, he is competitive, he wants to pull me down. If you keep dropping it, because the mind in you is clashing with the mind in him or her. If you drop the mind, the divinity in you is addressing the divinity in the other person. Then there is no mind to clash. Because if his or her mind wants to clash with your mind, guess what? You've dropped it. You're not in that territory. So more and more, if you center yourself, you'll realize the divinity in you is the same divinity outside you, and that same divinity flows in the other person and beyond that other person into someone else. The same divinity connects us all. Up top, the waves all look different. One wave could look at the other and feel jealous, saying, hey, how come you are a tsunami wave? I'm a small wave. They're all made up of water. more and more you connect with your true self, more and more you take on the citizenship of your home base, your true self, more and more these negative people that we label will fall away. Because you have no negativity in you anymore. There is no negativity to meet you. So this notion of the mind, oh, he's negative, drop it. Tell your mind, no one's negative. And even if they're negative, it's their mind that's negative. Just like how your mind bothers you, their mind bothers them and makes them do crazy stuff. You're blessed to have this knowledge. They're not. Hence, be compassionate. I had the same questions like you a few years ago, which is why I'm sitting here answering these questions, because this compassion is overflowing in me, saying, man, the way I suffered with my mind, I don't want others to suffer. So the same way, as and when you drop your mind and you feel that peace, the other person doesn't even know they have a choice to be somewhere else. They feel like they're in the body consciousness, they're suffering. They're in their intellect, they're suffering. They're in their mind, they're suffering. They don't know that there is a home base out there that they can choose to be. Sometimes we are forced to meet close family members due to social obligations, and I find them gossiping about others, which I dislike. I try to change the topic, but it comes back. So you already know. You either try to change the topic or be there in your practice. It's like, if you are, let's say, traveling from point A to point B, and there's like a 60-mile drive, and there's just one restaurant in between, and you're really hungry, but that restaurant serves meat. Everyone around you is sitting and eating meat. You are a vegetarian. You have your own food, but you requested him, hey, can I sit down and eat? All right, you can sit down and eat. You order a drink, you sit down, you're eating your food. Everyone around you is eating meat. What are you going to do? Throw up? Stop eating your food? What are you going to do? You're just going to continue eating your food. So no matter where you are, be in your home base. Let every conversation happen. To have attachment, oh, let me also add my 2 cents, is getting involved. If you're just sitting there and if you have the courage to say, you know what, I don't want to get involved in gossip. If you have the courage to say that, that might bring a profound change in them or not. Doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about your own growth. So center yourself no matter where you're at. Your center will guide you. And when you speak out of your center, you have authority. People want to hear you. Because it's not your mind speaking. It's not your intellect speaking. It's the true self shining forth. I don't know how to get over these feelings and keep myself centered. Well, the answer is in that. Get over yourself, get over these feelings, and keep centered. And then we have a few questions here. What is the difference between mind and intellect? Beautiful question. But the other question I have is, who wants to know? The mind wants to know. These are not really separate faculties. We are making them separate for the sake of understanding. The intellect is that aspect of the mind that receives knowledge. If I want to learn typing, right? Then I will go to a typing lesson and I'll learn typing. The intellect is that faculty that takes up all the knowledge. Mind stores it. If I want to, let's say, learn Lalita Sahasranam, right? I'll start chanting. The intellect is the channel which opens up. It starts taking up, stores in the mind. Then the mind says, oh, I know. Let me spit out. I know. So remember, it's a tool. You as awareness are walking around. So awareness decided, okay, let me experience how it is like to be a dentist. All right, let's go to dental school. The intellect is going to start taking up all the knowledge. Oh, how to do this, how to do that. Come on, learn, learn, learn. Put it all in the mind. When it comes to working on the patient, the mind should start, the awareness will tell the mind, all right, now let's perform this procedure. The intellect has already done its work and stored the information. As the mind is performing, the, the intellect will again continue to look at the case clearly and acquire more knowledge. And that's how you acquire knowledge, through experience. Because as you're working, you learn some new things. The intellect is ever open. Oh, so if I do this, this can happen. They didn't teach me this in dental school. All right, now put it in my toolbox. So the mind now has it. So now let's say a month later, that same case comes, same scenario. Now my mind says, oh, I know how to handle this. So the mind and the intellect are tools that you use. The intellect learns A, B, C, D to Z. And then it says, this is how you frame words, this is how you spell them, this is how you use language. Puts it all in the mind. The mind says, okay. So when it comes time to speak, the mind starts using all the knowledge and speaks. So they are just tools. Now imagine these tools have a rhythm of their own. They're doing their own thing. They have no master and they're doing their own thing. It's going to create a havoc. I hope I answered that question. Couldn't agree more with intellectual comparison. This is the root of frustration among students. Even the brightest of minds fall into this vicious cycle of comparing themselves with others. Recently, an acquaintance of mine who used to be extremely good in mathematics committed suicide. The root cause was depression caused by academic pressure and failure to maintain his image as a bright student. How sad. And you know, when I read such things, it makes me want to beg to all of you. The entire world needs so much help. For how long are you going to seek help? For how long are you going to be, the person who's still seeking help? When will you mature? When will you practice so much that you are able to help others, guide others? There is so much out there that needs help. If you are in a corporate world, if you just look around, you see people are stuck in body consciousness and suffering. You see people are stuck in their mind and are suffering. They don't even know they have a choice. You know you have a choice, you still don't want to exercise it. You have to exercise that choice. You have to transform yourself soon. This is the urgent need of the hour. You have to transform yourself soon so you can speak out of that center. You can be that center and help others. Till then, it's the same old, same old. So, intellectual comparison, yes, that is the problem. The root cause was depression. Depression is a deep groove in the mind. It's a deep groove and the mind keeps slipping into that groove. Okay, so academic pressure and failure to maintain his image as a bright student. How sad is that? You know, this image that we talk about, understand this image that we maintain is just the tip of an iceberg. You have this huge, huge iceberg underwater that you just are ignoring. More and more and more you become that deep ocean. More and more that tip of the iceberg will not matter. More and more actually the water will go down and the tip of the iceberg will start shining up. Are you trying to show me something here? Anuj Goyal's screen. Okay. I'll close that. So know that this image that we cling on to is truly a false image, is not the true story, is not the full story. Why don't you just experience your full story and then decide which image you want to be? Okay, the next question. There are times when I enjoy with my friends instead of doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm aware that I need to stop and do my work, but it's like I'm on autopilot and my mind overpowers me. Again, this happens because of living too much in the mind. As I said, we are citizens of 4 places. Very few times the true self, the body consciousness, the intellect, and the mind. If you are more in the mind will overpower. If you're more in the intellect will overpower. If you're more in the body consciousness, that will overpower. And that's why Swamiji talks about the center of your life. He says, if you make the center of your life your true self, everything around you will transform. And trust me, it's not just like, oh my God, all of a sudden something will happen. It will take time. It will happen over a period of time. Like I said, don't be harsh to yourself. So you're saying, I like to hang out with my friends instead of doing what I'm supposed to do. How about splitting it? Say, okay, I'll do what I'm supposed to do halfway, and then I'll go hang out with my friends, and then I'll come back and finish it. Instead of being very strict with yourselves and say, no, you cannot hang out with your friends until you finish this, because that's not going to work long term. You will eventually give in to the mind. So tell the mind, all right, I know you really want to go enjoy with the friends. How about we get to point A to point B, and then we'll go have fun with the friends, and then we'll come back and then go from point B to point C. Take breaks. Slowly, gently, kindly train your mind. And what helps? Centering yourself. Again, if you are willfully in your true self, establishing yourself in the true self, you will just know what needs to be done and you'll just do it. Like Nike, just do it. If I'm here in satsang, I'm here. Once this is done, whatever I'm doing, I'm doing. It's not like I don't procrastinate. It's not like, I'm 100% doing things strictly. No. It's part of being human. You sometimes procrastinate. You sometimes laze. You sometimes, put things off. You sometimes make excuses. It's all good. More and more naturally you will see. Focus more on the practice. The practice is what is going to change the very fabric of your being. Not questioning, not thinking about it. Practice. Just keep practicing little by little. In 1 year, you'll be a totally transformed person. In 2 years, you'll be further transformed. In 3, 4, 5. You never know. Just keep practicing little by little. And as I was saying, there is an urgent need of the hour. That's the urgent need of the hour, to help yourself fast so you can help others. How long are we going to seek help? There is so much out there that needs to be done. So many people that don't even know that there is a home base. But the thing is, you cannot just attend a satsang. I was talking to someone yesterday and that person was like, this is such great information. I want to go share it with my sister. I said, even if you sit down and share it with your sister, she's not going to trust a thing you're saying. She'll say, all right, that's nice. A center, a true self, all right, that's good. That's because you haven't practiced it. It's not in your experience. It's not a truth of yours. Only and only when you experience it as your truth, as your true self, you will be able to convey it to others. If not, it will just be pure talk, pure gossip. So, first, you have to experience it. You have to experience the true self who you are, then you can convey. If I'm just giving you bookish knowledge here, saying, oh, this book says this book says this satsang will not go on. And no one would even feel like, oh, I want to practice this. There is a point of truth that I'm coming from. I am still, and I'm admitting this, I'm still sometimes a citizen of body consciousness, of the mind, of the intellect. But majority of the times, I'm in my home base. I know that, and I'm speaking the truth. Can you say that with conviction? The day you are able to say that with conviction, you're ready to tell others around you. Till then, don't even bother. Because no one's going to listen to you. The impact is not going to be as powerful. So, the urgent need of the hour is practice, practice, practice. Such a simple practice, no matter what you're doing, even when you're hanging out with your friends. You're just there. You know, it's like a magnet with bunch of little metallic impurities attached to it. As and when they fall off, then you become that pure magnet. The magnet is always there. The silence is your default state. The silence is your natural state. The clutter is what needs to be shaken off. You need to get rid of the clutter to experience your true self. You don't have to do anything to experience the true self. The true self is always there. That is the foundation upon which all these three tools go crazy. It's like saying, the wave saying, what can I do to become the ocean? Well, you are the ocean. Quit being a wave and then you are the ocean. The problem with many people is they say, oh, how can I be God? I'm so impure. I'm not God. No wonder you are not God. Because you have accepted citizenship of the mind. The mind is not God. The mind is a tool God uses. I'm not God. I'm not God. The entire Vedas, Udghosh, they are screaming out loud, you are that, you are that, you are that. And we go saying, I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that. The only difference is, I have accepted, yes, I am that. I am not my mind, I am not my intellect, I am not my body, I am that. Some other people have difficulty accepting that because they think, no, how can I say that? I'm impure, I'm not that. Well, then that's your problem. Whatever you tell yourself, whatever story you tell yourself is your story. I cannot change that for you. I have changed my story that, hey, I am that. I am not anything less than that. I am that. I am her child, and being her child, that's the only label I have. I'm her child. How can I be impure? I'm not impure. My mind, yes, that needs work. My intellect, yes, that needs work. I am pristine awareness. I am pure, I am pure, I am pure. So the only difference is I have accepted it. Maybe you haven't. The day you accept it, that's it. You become that. You are that. Swamiji is saying, all the Vedas are saying, and that's Shraddha, that's faith in the words of your master. In the words of the master, if you have faith, you are that. Let's see, we have more questions. No more. Excellent. Any further questions? Beautiful. Let's really talk about that self-esteem. The answer lies in the word itself, self-esteem. If you put false in front of that, it's false self-esteem. And combine false self as one word, false self-esteem. Till the time you are your false self, you will have no esteem, you will have self-esteem problems. The issue of low self-esteem comes from your identifying yourself with your false self, which is either the mind, the intellect, or the body. And that is a true issue, because your true self is that deep ocean. And now you want to put that deep ocean in a little tiny box. You are deemed to suffer. So low self-esteem comes, as I said, straight up from identifying either with the mind or the achievements of the intellect or the way the body looks. More and more and more, you walk with divinity. It is amazing how you transform. I came to America in 2003 and I went to school in India. I was the topper. I was the cream of the crop. I was so super confident. And I remember my first day in dental school here. Oh my God, I remember that day so distinctly because I felt like I didn't even know how to speak English. I couldn't even talk to my friends around me. I was so fluent in English, I couldn't even speak. All of a sudden, the mind just shrunk. And then, over a period of time, I kept noticing, saying, hey, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Identifying yourself with the mind or the intellect, you will suffer. If I say, oh, I studied in India, I don't know, this American way is so advanced, I don't know, I'll suffer. Oh, I'm no good, I came from India, I'm no good, I'll suffer. Oh, this is how I look, I'm not too tall, I'm too short, I'm this, I'm that, I'll suffer. So whenever you have low self-esteem issues, understand that self is the false self. More and more and more you center yourself, the more and more you access the divinity, that divinity shines like Udyat Bhanu Sahasrabha, like the brilliance of 1,000 suns. All self-esteem issues come from identification with the false self. Again, going back to your practice, the more you say, home base is my home, this is where I feel comfortable. I don't want to be someone, body consciousness, okay. Because we all have to keep visiting the body consciousness, the intellect, the mind. We cannot ignore the presence of these three territories. But dwelling is what causes low self-esteem. If I have to go to work and, I was talking to someone else about it. If I like to oil my hair sometimes at night. And if I don't wake up in time, I don't have time to wash my hair. Now, if going to work is a problem, oh my God, what will patients say? What will people think? Oh my God, then I'm in the body consciousness. But if I'm able to put my hair up, go to work with oily hair, feel not an ounce of shame, then I am my true self. Because there is not an ounce of pretense in being who you truly are. If I know who I am, then how does it matter how my hair looks, what my clothes look like, if my nails are done, if my hair is done, if my eyebrows are done? It doesn't matter. But at the same time, to look presentable, to look good is also part of my job, is also part of being human. Doesn't mean I just walk around shabby. I make sure I look presentable, that's it, end of story. I eat well, I exercise well, end of story. Oh, but what about my arms? They could be bigger. Oh, what about my neck? What about this? Then that's dwelling. Intellectual comparison, as we talked about. Do what's best in your capacity. And that's it. Keep improving if you can. But not compare. If you have to compare, be in the divinity and see the unity. Quit comparing, the mind does comparing. Divinity only unifies. Remember, the mind is like a knife. It cuts. It cuts everything. Comparison is cutting. Oh, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this. So whenever you're comparing, know that you have accepted citizenship in the mind territory. Come back to the home base. Home base only connects. Mind disconnects. So connect as much as possible with yourself. There was a beautiful quote I read. When you're connected with yourself, you're connected with everybody. You're never lonely. You're lonely because you're in the mind. When you're connected, you're truly connected with everyone. And then no self-esteem issues. Of course, these things will not disappear in one day. It requires practice. And even before practice, it requires resolve. If not, you can look at all the Swaminarayan questions from the time it is posted on Black Lotus. Same questions over and over and over and over again. That's because people have not made a resolve. If you make a resolve, if you first identify, okay, I have low self-esteem, but today I make a resolve that no more. That's it. In a matter of few days, that problem is solved. It's just that we have accepted life with all of these unnatural things on us. I made a resolve that, you know what, no more. I am that. I am nothing short of that. And I just experience myself as that. Someone else might say, oh no, I'm not that. I'm an impure soul. Well, that's your resolve. I can't help it. So it all depends what you make a resolve. If you make a resolve, it's like announcing it to the universe that yes, I am that. Every time my mind says, no, you're not that, I'm going to drop it. I am that, I am that, I am that. And I truly experience myself as that. I still visit the body consciousness. I still visit the mind. I still visit the intellect. Doesn't mean anything. My home base is solid. The problem is our home bases are not solid. That's why we always walk on shaky grounds. I hope that answers. You're most welcome. Anyone else? Let's see if there are more questions here. Nothing here. So I guess we will end the session now. No more questions. We have one last session next week on mind. I think we will end with that. And next week we will talk about few more important things that the intellect needs to know so it can guide the mind. And we'll take up that next time. We don't want spiritual indigestion today. Okay? Let's close the session. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shantihi. Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Gratitude, 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 Divine Master. Okay, thank you very much. We'll meet again next week.